Hello and welcome to this Zwift Run live stream. My name is Stephen. I'm a Zwift ambassador, a community run leader and your host today. There's a countdown clock up there showing how long to go before the start of the main event, so you've probably got time to tidy the kitchen, take the trash out and grab yourself a drink before we get going. If you've never seen Zwift before, it's an online game where athletes from all over the world train, compete against and socialise with each other live and in real time. All you need to take part is a foot pod, an internet connection, access to a treadmill and a device on which to run the Zwift app. You can use a computer, an iPad, an iPhone, a high-end Android device. Zwift even works on Apple TV. If you have a smart treadmill, you don't even need a foot pod, as your treadmill will send your speed direct to Zwift. Once you've logged in and made sure your equipment is connected, you can join others live for structured group workouts or social runs. You could do a solo workout or take part in one of the many in-game challenges. You could also pit yourself against people from all over the world in a race. There are various Zwift worlds. Some are based on existing places like London, New York, Innsbruck, Richmond, Virginia and Harrogate in the UK. But the biggest world is the fictional Watopia, where you can run in glass tunnels underwater, through the middle of a volcano, in a jungle, up to the top of a snow-capped mountain and on country trails. Watopia is where the Zwift developers let their imagination fly. Like any computer game, the more you run, the higher up the levels you climb and the more virtual goodies you require. If you're a regular treadmill runner, Zwift is going to transform your training. If you're a hater, Zwift is going to change the way you think about indoor running. Before we go any further, if you're watching on YouTube, please click that subscribe button and the bell icon so you're notified every time we go live on this channel. If you're watching on Facebook, please click the like button on the Film My Run page. Film My Run is also my other YouTube channel where I post real world runs, so if you're interested in marathons, ultra running, 10Ks or triathlons, you'll find product reviews, interviews and races over on that channel. I've been running all my life. I started running long distance races in 2011 when I ran my first half marathon, and that was followed a year later by my first marathon in Paris. I've run the Paris Marathon every year since and have now run well over 100 marathons and ultras. I started using Zwift at the beginning of 2015 when indoor cycling and smart trainers really took off. In the early days, I held the long distance record for cycling of 500 kilometres on Zwift for about 48 hours. And when running started in 2016, I was the first person to run a marathon on Zwift. So if you have any questions about Zwift, if I don't know the answer, I probably know somebody who does. Okay, so now you can go and take the trash out and get that drink. And make sure you keep an eye on that countdown and be back in time for the start proper. Well, go on then, don't just sit there gawping at me. Basically, this message is going to go around in a loop again and again until the start of the run, so you may as well go and do something constructive in the meantime. Hello and welcome to this Zwift Run live stream. My name is Stephen. I'm a Zwift ambassador, a community run leader and your host today. There's a countdown clock up there showing how long to go before the start of the main event, so you've probably got time to tidy the kitchen, take the trash out and grab yourself a drink before we get going. If you've never seen Zwift before, it's an online game where athletes from all over the world train, compete against and socialise with each other live and in real time. All you need to take part is a foot pod, an internet connection, access to a treadmill and a device on which to run the Zwift app. You can use a computer, an iPad, an iPhone, a high-end Android device. Zwift even works on Apple TV. If you have a smart treadmill, you don't even need a foot pod, as your treadmill will send your speed direct to Zwift. Once you've logged in and made sure your equipment is connected, you can join others live for structured group workouts or social runs. You could do a solo workout or take part in one of the many in-game challenges. You could also pit yourself against people from all over the world in a race. There are various Zwift worlds. Some are based on existing places like London, New York, Innsbruck, Richmond, Virginia and Harrogate in the UK. But the biggest world is the fictional Watopia, where you can run in glass tunnels underwater, through the middle of a volcano, in a jungle, up to the top of a snow-capped mountain and on country trails. Watopia is where the Zwift developers let their imagination fly. Like any computer game, the more you run, the higher up the levels you climb and the more virtual goodies you require. If you're a regular treadmill runner, Zwift is going to transform your training. If you're a hater, Zwift is going to change the way you think about indoor running. Before we go any further, if you're watching on YouTube, please click that subscribe button and the bell icon so you're notified every time we go live on this channel. If you're watching on Facebook, please click the like button on the Film My Run page. Film My Run is also my other YouTube channel where I post real world runs, so if you're interested in marathons, ultra running, 10Ks or triathlons, you'll find product reviews, interviews and races over on that channel. I've been running all my life. I started running long distance races in 2011 when I ran my first half marathon, and that was followed a year later by my first marathon in Paris. I've run the Paris Marathon every year since and have now run well over 100 marathons and ultras. I started using Zwift at the beginning of 2015 when indoor cycling and smart trainers really took off. In the early days, I held the long distance record for cycling of 500 kilometres on Zwift for about 48 hours. And when running started in 2016, I was the first person to run a marathon on Zwift. So if you have any questions about Zwift, if I don't know the answer, I probably know somebody who does. Okay, so now you can go and take the trash out and get that drink. And make sure you keep an eye on that countdown and be back in time for the start proper. Well, go on then, don't just sit there gawping at me. Basically, this message is going to go around in a loop again and again until the start of the run, so you may as well go and do something constructive in the meantime. Hello and welcome to this Zwift Run live stream. My name is Stephen. I'm a Zwift ambassador, a community run leader and your host today. There's a countdown clock up there showing how long to go before the start of the main event, so you've probably got time to tidy the kitchen, take the trash out and grab yourself a drink before we get going. If you've never seen Zwift before, it's an online game where athletes from all over the world train, compete against and socialise with each other live and in real time. All you need to take part is a foot pod, an internet connection, access to a treadmill and a device on which to run the Zwift app. You can use a computer, an iPad, an iPhone, a high-end Android device. Zwift even works on Apple TV. If you have a smart treadmill, you don't even need a foot pod, as your treadmill will send your speed direct to Zwift. Once you've logged in and made sure your equipment is connected, you can join others live for structured group workouts or social runs. You could do a solo workout or take part in one of the many in-game challenges. You could also pit yourself against people from all over the world in a race. There are various Zwift worlds. Some are based on existing places like London, New York, Innsbruck, Richmond, Virginia and Harrogate in the UK. But the biggest world is the fictional Watopia, where you can run in glass tunnels underwater, through the middle of a volcano, in a jungle, up to the top of a snow-capped mountain and on country trails. Watopia is where the Zwift developers let their imagination fly. Like any computer game, the more you run, the higher up the levels you climb and the more virtual goodies you require. If you're a regular treadmill runner, Zwift is going to transform your training. If you're a hater, Zwift is going to change the way you think about indoor running. Before we go any further, if you're watching on YouTube, please click that subscribe button and the bell icon so you're notified every time we go live on this channel. If you're watching on Facebook, please click the like button on the Film My Run page. Film My Run is also my other YouTube channel where I post real world runs, so if you're interested in marathons, ultra running, 10Ks or triathlons, you'll find product reviews, interviews and races over on that channel. I've been running all my life. I started running long distance races in 2011 when I ran my first half marathon, and that was followed a year later by my first marathon in Paris. I've run the Paris Marathon every year since and have now run well over 100 marathons and ultras. I started using Zwift at the beginning of 2015 when indoor cycling and smart trainers really took off. In the early days, I held the long distance record for cycling of 500 kilometres on Zwift for about 48 hours. And when running started in 2016, I was the first person to run a marathon on Zwift. So if you have any questions about Zwift, if I don't know the answer, I probably know somebody who does. Okay, so now you can go and take the trash out and get that drink. And make sure you keep an eye on that countdown and be back in time for the start proper. Well, go on then, don't just sit there gawping at me. Basically, this message is going to go around in a loop again and again until the start of the run, so you may as well go and do something constructive in the meantime. Good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world. This is Film My Run on Zwift. My name is Stephen Cousins and we are broadcasting live on Facebook and on YouTube. While we're getting everything ready, it would be absolutely awesome if you could go and subscribe to the Film My Run YouTube channel and also the Zwift Live YouTube channel. You can also find us on Facebook at facebook.com/filmmyrun and also Twitter at filmmyrun, and the website is www.filmmyrun.com. It's very nearly time, so sit back, relax, don't forget to drop me a ride on and watch me do all the hard work. Ride on! I am so tired. I am really, really tired. So yesterday, I went out running outside for a short run, but I decided to take an evening off yesterday. So we're back on tonight, but we're in Group B. I just need to slow down a bit and just recover. Because I'm really physically fatigued. I just feel tired, and sometimes you just have to slow down and do less. So, although I'm going to keep up the distance this week, I am going to run slower. I think for most of it, maybe just do one quick run at some point over the week. We'll do a fast 5k or something, but that's going to be it. Everything else for the next week, even 2 weeks, everything else is going to be really slow. Blimey, look, We're all on the grass on this section. No one's on the road. So, Jonathan Cost, good evening. Yeah, Group B, as I've explained, very tired. Andrew Usher, he's having a whole week off because he's pulled his hamstring. So, get well soon, Andrew. Well, it's not really an illness, isn't it? Don't get well, just, recover soon. Tina Beard is still washing up. I'm leaving the washing up to my mother-in-law. And Bent Johansson is doing Group C tonight, so enjoy that. So we're off and running in Group B for Wednesday workout. 10 kilometres to do. We're doing intervals, but the recovery period in between the intervals is almost as tough as the interval itself. So it's not much recovery. It's called active recovery, hilariously enough.
Ride on!
Tina, thank you for the ride on. So during this 1 kilometre warm-up, we will slowly increase the pace of the treadmill, slowly increase the speed of the treadmill and the pace of the running. And then we'll go for a couple of short strides of 100 metres each at around 14 kilometres per hour. And then we're into the meat of it after that. 600 metre intervals with 400 metres recovery. 13 kilometres an hour for the interval, 12.2 kilometres per hour for the recovery. So, not too bad. Jonathan Cost says, maybe I'll have to wait for the next stream. Oh, sorry, Jonathan, I totally forgot. Oh, I'm so sorry, yes. I'll try and do it tomorrow. Jonathan, yesterday, or the day before, requested that we go back to the old music just for nostalgia's sake. And I forgot to do it. Jason Mitchell has a new treadmill that links direct to Zwift. Excellent stuff. Honestly, you will love it. And to be perfectly honest, you won't give a flying toss whether it's accurate or not. Just the fact that the treadmill display matches the display on Zwift is good enough, and you just don't, unless it was obviously wrong, unless it was totally and utterly incompatible with what you know that you can do outside. You just forget about whether it genuinely is accurate, and you just enjoy the fact that the two numbers match up. So look, I love that. I love the fact that I can have 9.5 on my treadmill, 9.5 on Zwift. It says go to 9.7, I just knock it up. 9.7 on the treadmill, 9.7 on Zwift. It's so satisfying to see. Tina Beard finally got her badge for John's route today. Well done, Tina. I'm really hoping that at some point in the not too distant future we do get some new running badges, particularly maybe once around Paris or one of the routes in France we get a little bit of joy with some new achievement badges. Neil Messenger, hello to you, buddy. Who have we got on the run today then? Paul Hayward is with me. Sebastian Voigt is running in Group C. Hi, Seb. Ricardo Oswald. Karl-Heinz Engel is in Group B with me, just a bit ahead. Goliath from South Africa. Riedel from Germany, and Simon Wood has been brave enough, or braver than me anyway, to join Group A. Because I have a feeling, actually, I did Group B last week as well, didn't I? It was the same interval session for Wednesday workout last week, and I bottled out last week and did Group B. So maybe I am just feeling a bit of the fatigue of doing my training for the Thames Path 100 miler coming up in a couple of weeks' time. The kind of the amount of miles for me This is kind of the maximum I do really, 100k a week. I rarely go much more than 120k per week. So maybe just feeling it a little bit. Clive Finnemore, same here, new treadmill coming on Tuesday. I'll be back. Good for you, Clive. Look forward to seeing you on a brand new treadmill. Simon Wood says, I already wish I was in Group B. Oh, bless you, Simon. Well, look, you've got Tim Iveson to follow. Tim will drag you along. Tim's a good runner. And I can see he's only a few seconds ahead of Simon, so those two can bash it out together. And I apologise for not doing it with you guys. You get the kudos for being hardcore tonight. I am just taking it a little bit easier for the next 2 weeks. Also, partly as well, in all seriousness, when you're getting close to a big race, injury and not being injured becomes a factor. And so not doing too much fast stuff is a good idea. Right, a little bit of a sprint. Not really a sprint. 14 kilometres now for 100 metres. So a very short sprint. And there we are. And back down to 9.9 kilometres per hour. And onto the seafront. And we're going to be going right. 32 runners taking part in Wednesday workout today, spread across groups A, B, C and D, and we do have people in every group. Sometimes we don't have anyone in group B or group C, for example, but yeah, loads of people in group B tonight, a few people in group D and C and A. So because I'm not working quite so hard tonight, any questions I should be able to answer. I will keep my eye on the chat. If you are watching on YouTube or listening and taking part in the run, and if you're watching on Facebook or Twitch, I'm also watching Twitch chat. I have chat open on Twitch, YouTube and Facebook, so I can read your messages. If you want to ask me any questions at all, please do, because I should have enough breath to answer. And Neil's been having some problems with his treadmill. It's been dragging, the belt has been dragging. And so thankfully, he's just messaged to say that the treadmill company are supplying him with a brand new treadmill. So that's great news. Good on you, Neil. Well done for getting the support that you need for that. So those are Zwifters taking part. That's a map of the course. Oh, hang on a minute. Let's start that again. Those are Zwifters taking part in the run. That's a map of our course. Up there we've got pace, and that's a distance we've gone. And there is the time that it's taken us. That's my level in the game. Level 21, you cannot get higher than level 21 at the moment. Just speeding up. Cadence and heart rate. Those are the breakdown details of the workout itself. Oh, and that's it. And back down again. So yeah, that's the screen that you're looking at if you're new to Zwift. This is called a workout. So we have all the instructions that we need on the screen. You don't have to do a workout in Zwift, you can just run solo. Or you can take part in races. But when you're in a workout, then you will have instructions on the left-hand side of the screen telling you what is coming up, what you're currently doing and what's coming up. And then at the top of the screen you will also have more instructions about what speed you should be going and how far through that particular section of the workout you are. And my wife has a question. But she's going to say, why have you wimped out to Group B? You can also keep an eye on my heart rate, which is currently 127. Keep an eye on that to see how hard I'm actually working. So anything below 150, then it's relatively easy for me. Above 150 and I'm starting to work a bit harder, and you won't see it going to over 170, but if it goes over 170, then we're really pushing it hard. But that's not going to happen today. Oh my goodness, that's a rather serious question from my wife. Apart from the social element of Zwift, how do you think your running has improved with Zwift? Blimey. I'm more consistent. It's easier to do more miles because the treadmill is literally in my shed, so I can run and not worry about the fact that I'm away from home. So I can get some work done when I might not otherwise have done so. Right, here we go with the first set, 13 kilometres an hour now for 600 metres. And generally running on the treadmill teaches you a lot of things. Teaches you about consistent pace, teaches you about good form. So when you're running on a treadmill, you don't have to think about tripping over tree roots or curbs or stopping at traffic lights or watching out for lorries, trucks, cars, people, dogs. You can just concentrate on your running form. And because the treadmill runs at a consistent pace, you can learn what it feels like to run at that particular pace. So when you go outdoors and you've got no sense really, other than your watch, you've got no sense of pace, you can kind of say to yourself, right, well I think I'm running around about 8-minute miles or 5 minutes per kilometre. You can sense that by the way you feel. And that's what consistent running on the treadmill can help you with. Jason Mitchell says, what do the workout stars mean? All the stars mean is that you've completed that particular section of the workout correctly. So you haven't gone too fast or too slow. There is a bit of leeway. So if I go too slow, or too fast, the colour of the display will change from black to red. So let me slow down for a minute, look. Now it's red. So it's about 11.7 and I'm going too slowly. If I speed up, back to 13. Then we're back in the black again. So all the stars mean is that you've completed it correctly. I don't think you get any extra XP points for the individual stars. But we do think that you get extra XP points for completing a whole workout. Jonathan Koss says it's all about the stars. Yeah. Is that Carol Rushworth being rude about my technical ability on the treadmill? Or just my general technical ability? How rude. To be fair though, she's quite right. But I know that most of my viewers only watch to see the disasters, the technical disasters that happen. So I can't very well have a perfect stream every time, because I'd lose all my viewers, because the comedy element would be totally lost. Right, Leo Loughran. Hello Stephen. I was going to join you today, but I was still running on Zwift. I missed that. I was running at 9.5 miles per hour for 45 minutes and only clocked 10k. Just realised that my calibration is out by 3 miles per hour. Oh my god. Yeah, you need to sort that calibration out, Leo. Two of Neil Messenger's marathons have been cancelled. Peterborough and Breckland Marathon, both postponed to next year. Standard Neil, that's what's happening everywhere, unfortunately. Yeah, my daily Zwift technical disasters are part of Carol and Jonathan's regular evening entertainment. Forget Terry and June. Right, up to 13 again. So we're on our second set of 600 metres now. 13 kilometres per hour. Heart rate is 139. So gradually going up. But hopefully we're not going to get up to 160. That's my guess. He says confidently. Well, only if I stop talking for a few minutes. If I keep talking, then we might get up to 160. Right, Carol's having a go at me for my technical uselessness, and yet she herself has failed to get onto the run this evening due to technical problems, i.e. forgetting to book it on the Zwift Companion app. Jason Mitchell says the Classic Quarter is still on. Wow. Well, that's a great race to do though. Classic Quarter, amazing. Brent, yeah. Brent's favourite technical problem from my perspective is when I go the wrong way. We've kind of knocked that on the head a little bit, because that always used to be due to my camera angles, and I'm getting a little bit better these days at turning camera angles off when I'm doing a run that I need to stay with the group. So as you can see, camera angles are off now. You've just got the rear view. There's no swishing between different cameras today. Different camera angles makes this stream more interesting, but it's kind of frustrating when you disappear from the rest of the group in the run. Tina Beard says, I ran outside yesterday. First time with my Yeovil running club since lockdown. Yeah, we've been back running outside with the club in the past few weeks. Kind of just gradually getting some organised runs together. So I went out with my club yesterday and did a nice relaxed 7 miles. And I was going to come back and do Ryan Downey's run in the evening, but for various reasons I didn't do it in the end. And it was good to have the night off. So welcome along. If you're just joining me, this is the Wednesday workout run, live on the Zwift Run live channel and the Film Might Run Facebook page. I'm in Group B tonight, just because I'm very tired from a good 6, 7, 8 weeks now of training for a 100-mile race coming up in a couple of weeks' time. And I've been putting in quite a few miles, so feeling a bit fatigued. So I didn't want to go fast tonight. And also just preserving myself a little bit to prevent injury before the big day. And I'm a bit nervous about this 100-miler because I attempted it last year and I DNF'd. I didn't finish. I got 85 miles and had to pull out. So I'm not going for a crazy time this year. I'm just aiming to finish and get to halfway, and if I feel good, I'll push on from halfway. If I don't feel good, it's just going to be a case of trying to grind out the final 50 miles overnight. So that's my goal on the 5th of September, is to finish the Thames Path 100-mile race. So here we go again.
Okay, let's go.
4 to 13 kilometres per hour. We've done 4 kilometres now. 6 to go. Ricardo, thank you for your ride on. Jonathan is asking my wife, has Zwift improved your running? I think we know the answer to that. Carol says Jonathan's 100-mile bike ride was cancelled, but he's still doing it. Are you doing the same course, Jonathan? Or are you just going to ride 100 miles on the bike anywhere? Neil Messenger says, with my treadmill, they gave me a tube of oil. How do you use it? How often do you use it, and where do you put it? Neil, I have to be totally honest with you and say I have absolutely no idea, because this treadmill that I've got is self-lubricating. You're not supposed to lubricate it, so I don't have any oil. I don't lubricate my treadmill. But there should be instructions with your treadmill. You should get instructions about how to use it, how often to use it, and where to put it. I know that some people often say they do it about once a month, once every 3 months? I don't know, if I'm honest. But maybe once a month if you use it really regularly, and it's usually the underside of the belt. Obviously, the bit that moves in contact with the deck. So you're running on a deck, and the belt is moving over the deck. And so it's the deck and the belt that are in friction with each other, and they need to have the least friction possible. So that's where you would put the oil. But how often and how much, I don't know. And Tina Beard says there are plenty of YouTube videos on how to lube the deck. Right, slower again. So Paul Haywood sticking right with me. Oswald a couple of seconds ahead, just behind the pace spot there. And Reed is 10 seconds back. Riedel is 24 seconds back. SW from Switzerland is 39 seconds behind. Sebastian Vogt from Germany, 1 minute 57 seconds behind in Group C. And Gorilla from Scotland, 2.5 minutes behind in Group C as well. Simon Wood is blasting it away. 3 minutes ahead of us in Group A. Tim Iveson and E the Frog from France, also in Group A. Right, 200 metres, and then we speed up again for the fourth set of 600. I know a lot of you are watching on Facebook. If you haven't subscribed to the Zwift Run Live YouTube channel, please go and help me out and do that. That'd be handy. Right, okay, here we go again. 13 kilometres an hour for 600 metres.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Heart rate is looking good, 142. Steps per minute, 181, that's nice as well. So nice and comfortable, nice and relaxed, exactly where we want to be, halfway through the run. So it looks like E the Frog from France is having a little bit of a rest in Group A. Maybe took on a bit too much. Although actually he's only 2.9 kilometres in. What you will often find with these group runs is while sometimes you do have a little group that sticks together, quite often you'll find individual runners going off on their own and doing their own thing really. And that's why each group is quite spread out. But there are 3 or 4 of us kind of together here. Oswald, myself, Paul Hayward and Em Reed are all not too far away from each other, sticking nicely behind the pace spots, sticking to the instructions. And for Wednesday workout and also for Monday Run Club, everyone has the same instructions. For some group workouts, each individual person has their own set of instructions based on their own personal pace profile. So the more you run on Zwift, the more the Zwift program gets an idea of how fast you can run. And in some workouts, it automatically sets the paces for you. So your pace in a run might be completely different to somebody else's. In a group workout like this, you might find that everyone spreads out even more, and that's because everyone has their own individual pace. Right, so 4 out of 5 done. So we've got 1 more of these to go, and then we speed up a bit and we do 2 more sets slightly faster. E the Frog has now sped up again. So about 20 minutes to go to the end of Wednesday workout. Yes, Carol, I noticed that as well. I'm sure it's to do with the cycling steering option. I'm sure the coding for Zwift is affecting runners. So the coding for Zwift cycling steering, which is quite new, I think that's affecting the runner's path on the roads. Jonathan says he was a bit conflicted tonight because the pace for Group B was too fast, the pace for Group C was too slow. So he just chickened out altogether and let Carol run. Nice one. Right, here we go again, fifth and final one of this pace. Heart rate still lovely and comfortable, 138 BPM. Steps per minute, 178, 180. So we're doing fine. Kilometres done, 4 to go. See, and what Jonathan says is that is exactly the problem with having runs that are at a set pace. Some people will get caught in the middle. So like Jonathan says, Group B could be too fast, whereas Group C could be too slow. But if everyone has their own individual paces, then nothing's going to be too fast or too slow because it's going to be set exactly where it should be for your ability. And the only problem with that is that sometimes it can feel like you're running on your own because nobody's sticking together. Whereas here, look, we've got 4 or 5 runners all with each other together in the run, helping each other out like you would in any group run outdoors. It's so easy to get set up with Zwift running. Here's what you need. Firstly, access to a treadmill. It could be at home or at the gym, but any treadmill will work with Zwift. To get you moving in game, we need a speed source. Traditionally, we use a foot pod, like the Zwift Pod or the Stride, but you can also use the Run Smart treadmill sensor, your Apple Watch, one of the newer Garmin watches, the TSS app, and if you have a smart treadmill, your treadmill will connect directly to Zwift without the need for another device. Now simply download the Zwift app onto a Mac, a PC, an iPhone, an iPad, an Android device. Zwift even works on Apple TV. Finally, pair your speed source in the app. Pairing heart rate from your watch or a chest strap is also a great addition to Zwift. And that's it. You're all set up for solo runs, solo or group workouts, challenges and real-time racing on Zwift with people from all over the world.
Thanks for giving my dad a ride on.
Thank you, Christoph. Okay, so lots of people commenting about this Group B, Group C pacing business. And some good points being made. So Sarah Jacobson agrees. I often find myself squarely between B and C2. Slowing down a bit. Victoria says, Jonathan, I often feel I'm between groups B and C, so I join Group B and see how long I can hold out. Yes, so that's a really good option. If you want to try and push yourself and test yourself, join a group. If you find that you're between 2 groups, join the faster group and see how long you can hold on for, because that will take you out of your comfort zone. We will never improve if we don't go out of our comfort zone every so often. Not all the time, but every so often. If you want to improve, step out of the comfort zone. So if Group B is too fast, if you're feeling brave, join Group B, see how long you can hold out for. And then if you have to slow down, then slow down. It's no big deal. And also, Bent Johansson says, you can also alter the percentage. So if you look in the top left of the screen, where it says LT intervals, look down. And at the bottom of that little square, you will see where it says 100% up or down. Now you can alter that to make the workout easier or harder. So rather than just increase the pace of your treadmill, without paying attention to the instructions, or if you want to make sure that you still get your stars, you can put the treadmill, put the percentage up to 110% or down to 90% and run at those paces and still get your stars. So that's another way of doing it if you're stuck between groups. And here we go again. Right, so now we're going up to 13.5 kilometres an hour. This is the start of our next 2 sets now. Slightly faster. Neil Messenger says they must have sorted out Wednesday workout from crashing. Well, it is true that I don't think we've had a crash for about two weeks now on Monday Run Club or Wednesday workout. Well, I haven't anyway. I might be tempting fate there, and we might crash in the cool down. But at the moment, yes, maybe something's been done. And Wednesday workout and Monday Run Club have not crashed for the last 2 weeks, on my system anyway.
Ride on!
James Smith, thank you for the ride on. Jonathan hates failure, which is good to hear coming from an airline pilot. I watched a very interesting documentary on YouTube the other night about the Stockport air disaster. I don't know if you know about that, Jonathan. It's one of those times at 1 o'clock in the morning when you can't sleep and you just choose a random YouTube video to watch. Very interesting black and white documentary from the 60s. Can't remember what the date was of the crash. Meters to go. Two and a half kilometres left of Wednesday workout. Minutes of running left. Well, just over 11 minutes of running, let's say. No, Stockport, Manchester. I think it was in the 60s. No, in the 60s. It was definitely in the 60s. It was a black and white film from 67, 68, maybe. Right, so one more set to go of Wednesday workout. One more 600 metre interval at 13.5 kilometres per hour. And then we've got a kilometre of cool down and then we're done. It was a British Midland plane, Jonathan. Four-engine prop, and the pilot shut down the wrong. Well, they think the pilot shut down the wrong engine when it ran out of fuel. So he had two engines go on the same wing. Okay, here we go.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Okay, let's go.
I wasn't alive when the plane crashed, Neil. I just watched a documentary on it. Just because I watch The Wizard of Oz, which was made in 1930 something, doesn't mean I'm that old. I may look it, but I'm not.
Thanks for giving my dad a ride on.
Thank you for the ride on. That's it, June 67. Right, 400 metres. Less than 2 kilometres of Wednesday workout to go. Yes, Sarah, interesting point. So, Sarah Jacobson points out that these group workouts are often different distances as well. So A group will often run further than group B, B group will run further than group C, and so on. So you might want to do a longer run. So you join the more difficult group, maybe hang with them if you can, or just join that group but run slower. So you still do a workout, but you get the distance that you want. Okay, coming to the end of this set. Just the recovery of 400 to go, and then we're into cool down at the end of Wednesday workout. Simon Wood, Tim Iveson and Schultz now, all in Group A, sticking together. Well, actually not sticking together, they are quite a way apart, aren't they, actually looking at it. But they're together on the map there. Right, there we go. Just in cool down now. 1.3 kilometres left of Wednesday workout, 6 minutes of running left. Well done if you've taken part in that tonight, especially if you worked hard. But I have my excuses, I have my reasons, so forgive me. And at least going slower, it means I can chat to you a bit more, which makes it a bit more entertaining, I suppose. Unless your entertainment is seeing me suffer, which you definitely haven't done tonight. Heart rate 150 is definitely not suffering. Yes, Jonathan, there are a lot more cycling routes than running routes, that is for sure. Which is why I would definitely like to see some more running routes added soon. Right, coming up to 9 kilometres done, and now we are in to cool down. 1 kilometre of relaxing down, slowing down the treadmill, slowing down the heart rate, easing up the legs.
Nice.
Well done, everybody. Right, let's have a look at the stats. So we were on chili pepper tonight. I haven't given 12 ride-ons, that's a total lie, I better go and do that. 4,572 kilometres run on Zwift. Brent Johansson, no, nothing more about running yet. I think we should only start asking more questions after Christmas. If running hasn't arrived, if rowing hasn't arrived by Christmas, then we need to start saying, well, you said it was coming, where is it? Okay, interesting. Jonathan Cost says, last night I used my Bluetooth heart rate strap and had dropouts. I switched to Ant Plus on the same device and it was perfect. Well, there you go. You see, so I always go on about how I prefer Bluetooth to Ant Plus, and I always seem to get a nice, steady Bluetooth signal. You'll notice I'm on Bluetooth with the treadmill, I'm on Bluetooth with my heart rate, and I have a rock solid signal for both throughout. No pace dropouts, no heart rate dropouts. However, Victoria, when she runs on the treadmill, she has to use Ant Plus for her heart rate, and it is constantly dropping out. And I used to get this on the bike a lot as well. When I connected with Ant Plus on my bike, I used to constantly get dropouts, whereas if I use Bluetooth, it was fine. But a lot of people get entirely the opposite. So they will find that they get dropouts with Bluetooth, but not with Ant Plus. Very interesting. And it may be to do with the 2.4 gigahertz signal being interrupted differently in different households due to different equipment around or whatever it might be. But yeah, Jonathan says, was puzzled by it. Yes, it is. It is puzzling. 3 minutes to go. And I think generally this stays at 10.4 now for the rest of the run. 500 metres left. So yeah, different people have different experiences with Ant Plus and Bluetooth. And although I prefer Bluetooth, there's very little difference between them in terms of their stability, their reliability, and a lot of people absolutely swear by Ant Plus. So I'm not going to knock it too much. By the way, if you haven't noticed, I do have I do have power in the bottom right hand corner. So as well as my treadmill being connected directly to Zwift, I'm also using my Stride footpod connected to my phone, and I'm using the Stride app on my phone to record my power. And so that is what is being displayed on screen, direct from my footpod, not via Zwift. That is direct power from the footpod, uncalibrated obviously. As far as I'm aware, you cannot calibrate the Stride footpod on the Stride app. You can calibrate it on your watch and you can calibrate it in Zwift, but as far as the Stride app itself is concerned, it goes directly to the Stride app with no calibration, and you can't put a manual calibration on it. Wardle, thanks for the ride on. 200 metres to go. There's the finish. Jason Mitchell, loving my new treadmill matching Zwift speeds. Is very therapeutic, if not accurate. Yes, if not 100% accurate. Absolutely, totally agree with you. It's much more mentally satisfying to see those numbers matching, regardless of accuracy. However, as Jonathan will testify, we have done some accuracy testing with this treadmill. And if I change to the treadmill, you'll see, oh, hang on a minute. You'll see a big white mark going past And we use that to count the number of revolutions of the belt. And we can do a little mathematical calculation. And we have verified pretty much that this treadmill does go at the speed that it says it's going at. So when the display says 10.4 kilometres per hour, I can be sure that the belt itself is still moving at 10.4 kilometres an hour. And there we are. We are done. Wednesday workout is finished. A bit of a cop-out in terms of working hard. Oh look! I actually have power as well on here, look. So left-hand side of the screen there, power distribution. So I did also connect via Ant Plus. I connected my Stride FootPod to power, to the power meter in the ride screen. Let me explain this to you. Okay. Right. When you log on to run on Zwift, if you have a Stride power meter FootPod, before you log on to the run section, you click on the ride tab. Click on ride and you will see where it says power source. If you click on power source, you should be able to select your Stride FootPod. Now you need to select Ant Plus, not Bluetooth, because I've done it loads of times through Bluetooth and it doesn't seem to send power. So if you connect your Stride FootPod via Ant Plus as a power source in the ride pairing screen, then click back onto run and connect up as normal your devices as you would any other time. And when you've done your run, when it uploads later to Strava, Strava should accept that power reading, that power data. So you should get power in Strava. Unfortunately, Strava does not accept power from Garmin devices. So if you record the run on your watch and upload it to Strava, it won't give you power because it's coming from a Garmin watch. But you will see it in Garmin Connect. So if you go to the Garmin Connect app, you will see power. It just won't show it in Strava. But if you upload it from Zwift, it will show power in Strava. Am I confusing you? Sorry. Okay, Paul Hayward says, thanks very much. Hard last two strides for me, good though. Simon Wood says, what a workout, hit the wall, second to last interval. Yeah, well done Simon though, good job. At least you started Group A. I didn't even start Group A, so well done buddy. And Jonathan Cost says to Jason Mitchell, your pace graph on your Zwift activity will also be a thing of beauty. It will. Yes, okay, right, we are done. That is it for Wednesday workout. Good chat tonight on YouTube and Facebook. Thank you very much, everybody. I always enjoy a good chat while I'm running, especially if I'm not doing too much of a hard effort, which I wasn't tonight. So pleased that I managed to stay in zone 3 for the whole run. If you look at the screen on the left-hand side there, all the splits are in zone 3, the yellow zone. So I didn't hit zone 4 threshold and certainly not anaerobic zone 5. Apart from the first 2 or 3 kilometres, which were obviously in zone 2. So that is it. Jonathan Costa says, for me, power equals cycling, pace equals running. Yes, a lot of people, most people in the world still use either pace or heart rate to measure their effort in running. Power is not a common thing to use for running, but it's getting more so. More people are using the Stride FootPod. More people are kind of dipping their toe in the power metric as a metric to use for evaluating your effort in running. Paul Hayward says, I've learned to adjust my speed about 5 seconds before it tells us on the screen due to Stride needing to catch up. Yes, that's the other thing about wearing a FootPod as opposed to a smart treadmill. Your FootPod will take a few seconds to get up to speed, whereas a smart treadmill will react pretty much instantly. Neil Messenger says, good night Neil, take care buddy, see you later. And we are off as well. Thank you very much for all your chat, thank you very much for your ride-ons, and we'll see you tomorrow. I will be on tomorrow almost definitely 99% certain we'll do something tomorrow. So we'll see you then. Take care, everyone. Bye bye.